Good morning, everyone. I'm Ben. I'm a senior immigration specialist here at BDV Solutions, and today we are going to go through an adjustment of status case from someone coming from Nigeria. For those of you that don't know, an adjustment of status is different from consular processing because adjustment of status means you're already in the United States on a valid visa and you're changing to apply for EB-3. You're adjusting your status from what you're on to a different visa status. So this individual is already in the United States when they're starting their EB-3 process. The EB-3 process begins, as many of you already know, with filing the LC. The LC is short for Labor Certification. This is an application that goes to the Department of Labor that the sponsoring employer sends to show that they have taken all the proper steps to be able to sponsor your visa. This LC received an audit, which initially can sound kind of scary, but it's a totally routine procedure. Audits are usually issued completely at random. About 1 in every 3 LCs will be audited by the Department of Labor, and it is just an additional step that the Department of Labor takes to make sure that your sponsor has followed all of the proper steps to be able to sponsor your visa. This person's LC was then approved a little bit less than a year later in June of 2020, and after that you move on to filing the I-140. And what the I-140 does is it preserves your LC. An LC will usually expire after 6 months of being approved. So when you file the I-140, it preserves your LC so that it won't expire. After that, we file the I485, which is the actual green card application, and the I-765, which is your application for employment authorization. We often call it the EAD, which is short for Employment Authorization Document. Those were filed in October of 2020, and then the I-140, which was meant to preserve the LC, received an RFE. RFE is short for Request for Evidence. And this again sounds scary at first, but for our attorneys that we work with, it is a totally routine procedure and very common to happen in cases. And all that's happening here is USCIS, which is the immigration department of the United States government, has some sort of question about your application. They want to see some sort of additional document. It doesn't mean anything is wrong with your application. It just means that they have an additional question they want answered. And so you can see shortly after the RFE was sent, the I-140 was approved already in June of 2021. Very quick, relatively painless, and then very shortly thereafter, the I-765 was approved, which means you are then authorized to begin work legally in the United States, a really big deal. After that, the I-485 hit an RFE. This is starting to get a little complicated and you're probably starting to get a little bit tired at this point in your process, but it's still totally routine. Our attorneys are well versed in how to respond. They know what documents they need and they are ready to help with this stage. And as you can see, even though they hit all of these bumps along the way, in April of 2022, their I-485 is finally approved, which means they got their green card. The whole process took only 31 months despite an audit and 2 RFEs. And this again is just another example of how even despite what looks like a lot of road bumps, someone's case can eventually reach a green card.